He was born to rule. He was destined for greatness. He was Carlos, Prince of Asturias, the heir to the most powerful empire in the world. But fate, it seemed, had a cruel sense of humor. Instead of a life of glory, Carlos's short existence was marred by tragedy, intrigue, and ultimately, a shroud of mystery that continues to captivate historians and romantics alike. Carlos was born into a world of immense power and expectation. His father, King Philip II of Spain, was one of the most powerful monarchs of his time, ruling over a vast empire that spanned continents. His mother, Maria Manuela of Portugal, was a noble woman of great beauty and grace. Carlos entered the world on June 8, 1545, amidst much anticipation and hope for the future. His birth was met with great celebration. The streets of Spain were filled with joyous festivities, fireworks, and grand feasts. The people rejoiced at the arrival of the heir who would continue the Habsburg legacy. As the long-awaited heir to the Spanish throne, Carlos was the center of attention from the moment he was born. His upbringing was meticulously planned to prepare him for his future role as king. But even from a young age, it was clear that Carlos was a delicate child. He was often sick and frail, causing concern among the royal family and advisors. His fragile health was evident to all who saw him. Physicians and caretakers were frequently at his side, trying to nurse him back to health. He also bore the mark of the Habsburg dynasty, the prominent jaw that was a family trait. This physical characteristic was a symbol of his royal lineage, but also a reminder of the genetic issues that plagued the family. More troubling, however, were the rumors of mental instability that began to circulate. Courtiers and advisors would often be seen whispering in the halls, their faces marked with concern. Some attributed these whispers to his mother's traumatic death shortly after his birth. Maria Manuela's passing was a devastating blow to the young prince and the entire royal family. Others saw something darker, a hereditary taint passed down through the royal bloodline. The Habsburgs were known for their intermarriages, which many believed led to various health and mental issues within the family. As Carlos grew, these concerns only deepened, casting a long shadow over his future and the future of the Spanish throne. As Carlos grew older, his betrothal to his cousin, Isabella of Valois, daughter of the French king, was announced. It was a strategic alliance, a means to secure peace between two powerful nations. Carlos, smitten by descriptions of Isabella's beauty and charm, clung to the hope of this union. But his father had other plans. In order to accelerate the political relationship between France and Spain, Philip married young Isabella instead. Carlos was then promised to marry Anna of Austria, but his father delayed this marriage. Years later, Anna would become Philip's fourth wife instead. Of course, these relationship struggles did not contribute to a good father-son relationship. During a visit to Salamanca in 1562, the young prince, known for his impulsiveness, suffered a terrible fall down a flight of stairs. The accident left him grievously injured, his body broken, and his mind, some rumored, even more unhinged. The accident did have a profound effect on Carlos. He became increasingly erratic, prone to fits of rage and bouts of deep melancholy. His behavior became increasingly strange, marked by cruelty to animals and a reckless disregard for courtly etiquette. Stories of his eccentricities spread like wildfire through the court. There were tales of him forcing a shoemaker to eat a pair of poorly made boots. He was also said to have thrown a servant out of a window for failing to close a shutter properly. The relationship between Carlos and his father, Philip II, was strained to say the least. Philip, known as the prudent king, was a man of rigid control and deep piety. He was a stark contrast to his volatile and increasingly uncontrollable son. Carlos craved his father's approval, the love that Philip seemed incapable of giving. The king, for his part, viewed his son with a mixture of disappointment and fear. He saw in Carlos's erratic behavior a threat to the stability of the Spanish throne. As Carlos grew older, his behavior became more erratic. He railed against his father's authority, made ill-advised alliances with Dutch Protestants, and even plotted to flee Spain. Philip, fearing for his own safety and the future of his dynasty, took drastic action. In 1568, he had Carlos imprisoned in his chambers in the Alcazar of Madrid. The prince was kept in near total isolation, stripped of his titles and his freedom. The confinement only served to further unravel his already fragile mental state. Carlos's imprisonment lasted for months. The once proud heir to the Spanish throne was reduced to a shadow of his former self. He was allowed no visitors, save for his guards and a few trusted servants. He threatened suicide, and so knives and forks were banned from his room. His health, always fragile, deteriorated rapidly. Then, on the night of July 24th, 1568, Carlos, Prince of Asturias, heir to the most powerful empire in the world, died. He was only 23 years old. The official cause of Carlos's death was listed as natural causes, brought on by a fever. However, the story was far from simple. Carlos, the troubled son of King Philip II of Spain, had been a controversial figure throughout his life. His erratic behavior and rebellious nature had made him many enemies within the Spanish court. But the circumstances surrounding his demise were shrouded in suspicion. Whispers of foul play echoed through the grand halls of the Spanish castles. The court was rife with intrigue, and many believed that there was more to the story than met the eye. Rumors spread like wildfire throughout Spain and beyond. In the bustling markets and quiet village squares, people spoke in hushed tones about the young prince's untimely death. Theories and speculations grew wilder with each retelling, painting a picture of a court steeped in treachery and deceit. Many believed that Philip, unable to control his son and fearing for his own safety, had ordered Carlos's death. The king's stern and unyielding nature only added fuel to the fire. Was it possible that a father could order the death of his own son to maintain his grip on power? Some claimed that the prince had been poisoned. The idea of poison, a silent and deadly weapon, was not far-fetched in a court where betrayal lurked around every corner. The apothecaries and their mysterious concoctions became the subject of intense scrutiny. Others claimed he had been murdered in his sleep. The image of a shadowy figure creeping into the prince's chamber in the dead of night was a chilling one. It spoke of a betrayal so deep that it could only be carried out under the cover of darkness. The rumors were further fueled by the death, just a few months later, of Carlos's former fiancée, Isabella of Valois. Her sudden passing added another layer of mystery to an already convoluted tale. The court was plunged into mourning once again, and the whispers grew louder. Isabella, who had been deeply affected by Carlos's death, succumbed to a sudden illness. Her health had deteriorated rapidly, and many believed that her grief had played a significant role in her decline. But was it merely grief, or was there something more sinister at play? Her death, like that of her former betrothed, was deemed suspicious by many. The court was left to grapple with the loss of 2 young lives, and the air was thick with unanswered questions. The whispers of murder continued to haunt the halls of the Spanish court, leaving a legacy of intrigue and suspicion that would be remembered for centuries to come. The tragic tale of Carlos, Prince of Asturias, is a story of love, loss, and the often toxic nature of power. It is a tale that has captivated historians and storytellers for centuries, inspiring countless works of art, literature, and music. The story of Carlos has been the subject of plays, operas, and novels, each offering a different perspective on his life and the mysteries surrounding his death. Was Carlos a victim of his own demons, driven mad by his injuries and his turbulent relationship with his father? Some accounts suggest that he suffered from mental illness, exacerbated by a severe head injury he sustained in a fall down a flight of stairs. His erratic behavior and violent outbursts led to increasing tensions with his father, who was known for his stern and authoritarian rule. Or was he the victim of a sinister plot, silenced by those who feared his claim to the throne? There are theories that suggest Carlos was the target of a conspiracy, orchestrated by those who saw him as a threat to their power. Some believe that his imprisonment and subsequent death were the result of a calculated move to remove him from the line of succession. The truth, lost to time, remains a matter of speculation, a royal mystery that continues to intrigue and tantalize us to this day. Despite the many theories and interpretations, the story of Carlos, Prince of Asturias, serves as a poignant reminder of the complexities of history and the enduring allure of unsolved mysteries. His life and death show the human desire to seek answers, even when they remain just out of reach. Thank you for watching. If you found this video beneficial, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Trotastoria to continue learning from the annals of history.